to see a lot of people here today in support. I travelled down today from Port Augusta, and I live on an Aboriginal community called Davenport. So it's not just a speech. I come from a community, we are living what the government is doing. So the motion's run high. And that is really good to know that there are people, because a lot of time we felt that we were alone. Because of the emotions, paper, write it down so I don't forget the important things. And when we were coming down King William Street, it was really good to hear the chant, and I think we should do it 3 more times. So let's go. We got that thing. Always was,
always will be Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
And let's remind the Australian people out there that they are on this country of ours. I should be used to holding a mic doing karaoke. You know, I stand here today in solidarity with all other Aboriginal communities across the country. I have stood up for Aboriginal rights from a very young age, and all I ever heard was from non-Aboriginal people, that's not my fault, I wasn't there. So Captain Cook came and took our land and claimed terra nullius. What did I say? That's not my fault. I wasn't there. The King in the letters patent said Aboriginal people in South Australia must be able to have access to their land, not just for the current generations, but for future generations to come. But this was ignored and our lands were stolen. That's not my fault. I wasn't there. In my father's country, the Flinders Ranges, that flag over there, the home of my people, the Adjamatna people, were raped and murdered. My people were poisoned. They used to go out shooting my people for sport. And even worse, they buried our children up to their necks and used their heads for polo. That's not my fault. I wasn't there. My grandmother was taken away and brought down to Coldbrook home and never saw her mother again. That's not my fault. I wasn't there. My mother was also taken away, and I grew up at Amiwara Children's Home in Port Augusta Mission in Port Augusta. What did I hear? Can't hear you. There was one politician who did a lot for our people in the 1970s, and sadly he passed away recently, but he ran a campaign with "It's time." And I say to all of you who stand here today, it's time for us to take responsibility for what is happening now. We are here, and it's time we took action. Our current government is practicing, and I heard this throughout all the other speakers, our current government is practicing brutal cultural genocide. Shame at it, shame. Shame at it, shame. Shame at it, shame. This is typical of the oppressors, and we are all here to witness, so I say it's time for action for Aboriginal rights. Our communities are suffering. At my community of Devonport, we have people living in third world conditions. It's time to down tools, Australia. It's time to take action. We are being forced into signing 40-year leases with the government, or we would get no housing maintenance. We are having to sign over our communities. Our community has been going for the past 8 years, and had to, and you get people who say it's in your best interest. This is the best thing that you're going to get. They don't live my life. How can they tell me what is good for me? They are building what they call super communities, so they can move like what they're doing in Western Australia, close down the communities, pull them all into, herd our people like sheep, and pull them into communities that the other communities don't want them, because they know that people got their own rights to their own country. We heard from the speakers what they said. You know, you're better off living in your own country. You take away the suicide. Our healthy lifestyle stay longer. You know, we live longer. When we're back in our own country, we feel good. Our mental health it gets better. Closing communities is cultural genocide. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. The Prime Minister of Indigenous Peoples tells us living on communities is a lifestyle choice. He wants us to move into towns and cities. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. I want you to get used to that little slogan there, so we can try it. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. So let's go. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. Again, it's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. These marches are great, but do they make a difference? I hope so. But I believe, again, here we go. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. What is it? It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. So I'm calling on everyone across Australia to down tools for an hour in support of Aboriginal rights, in support of our communities, and to show Aboriginal culture is important to us all. We will not allow this continuing cultural genocide to happen. Therefore, I'm calling on the unions to have their members down tools for an hour. I am calling on the churches to support us and to preach from your pulpit for people to down tools for Aboriginal rights for an hour. I am calling on the other political parties to support us and down tools. The Greens, the Democrats and the Labor Party to tell their members to down tools for Aboriginal rights. I call upon small businesses to close down for an hour. I call on workers in corporations to down tools for an hour. I call upon transport workers to down tools for an hour. I am asking for a commitment from everyone across Australia to give up 60 minutes of your time to support our cultures that are over 60,000 years old. 60 minutes for 60,000 years. So it's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. I've got to read it. Again, we'll do it 2 times. I just want to hear it. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. It's time to down tools Australia for Aboriginal rights. Will you support me? Yes. Will you support me? Yes. Will you support the Aboriginal community? Yes. I want to stop the spread of wealth while our people are suffering. I want to bring this country to its knees for an hour. We have to hit at it where it hurts. The only language he understands is dollars. I want to stop everything for an hour and for people to stop and think about us, the Aboriginal people of this land. I want people to down tools to show your support for our people. So what are we going to do? Down tools, Australia, for Aboriginal rights. Down tools, Australia, for Aboriginal rights.